Hi, everybody. Christine Uhen, the business strategist here at Dentist Advisors, and I am back with our fifth point of productivity. This is the fifth in our series of how to be more productive, growing your top line. We covered tip number one was about understanding your patient base and knowing where some of those numbers of patient-based growth. We did points 2 and 3 together about diagnostics and case acceptance. What should it be? What is good? Tip number 3 was about how to be the advocate to help your patients afford the dental work that they want and need to have done. And our last one today is about scheduling to productivity. And I can assure you that probably everybody listening here can understand what I mean by that crazy roller coaster of inconsistent scheduling. So that's what today is about. How to create a consistent, repeatable, manageable, successful, and most importantly, create a great experience for your patients with the right schedule.
Consult an advisor or conduct your own due diligence when making financial decisions. General principles discussed during this program do not constitute personal advice. This program is furnished by Dentist Advisors, a registered investment advisor.
One of my mentors, Dr. Bruce Baird, had said all along for the last 20 years, there are only 2 things you need to do every day. Number 1, take great care of your patients. Number 2, reach your production goals. It is okay to have a good business as long as you're taking great care of your patients. And a good schedule template allows and creates the opportunity for you to have the opportunity to create the greatest patient experience as well as make your production goals. So how do we do that? Well, in true dentist advisor fashion, it is about getting organized. First of all, knowing what your production goal is, whether that's taking an annual goal, breaking it down monthly, breaking it down daily, even getting down to an hourly goal. You need to know what you need to accomplish for the business on a daily basis, at least, the monthly down to daily. If you want to break that down to hourly, that's certainly another level you can get down to. But knowing your daily goals and share that with the team. Understand why you're creating these schedule templates that the way that you are, and getting the team to understand what's happening on a day-to-day basis and how we can get that production on the book successfully with first and foremost being a great patient experience. So that isn't about shortening appointments and putting more patients in. Once you've achieved a production goal, there's no reason from a business perspective to add more patients in the day. That does mean there may be white spaces on your schedule that's not filled in. And yet, as long as you've, number 1, created an opportunity to take great care of your patients, and number 2, met your goal, it's fine. It's a bit of a mind shift, but it's an important one to have. More organization is what kind of dentistry do you do and how much of each kind of dentistry. For example, and run these production by procedure by provider reports to understand that, again, as let's say you're a solo practitioner, how many crowns, let's just use that as a procedure, how many crowns do you currently do in a month on average? Well, if it is where you want to be, that's great. Then the template needs to allow for that. If you want to grow that number, then your template, the design of your monthly, weekly, daily schedule needs to have room, needs to have the appointment types for those crowns enough to achieve your goal for that type of procedure. Looking at other types of procedures. If you want to do more implant dentistry, how many have you done? How many do you want to do? How many need to be available on a monthly basis? Same thing with fillings. Same thing with any type of procedure. New patients. If you choose to see new patients in your schedule first, or at least some of them, if a patient calls and says, I'm responding to an ad about dental implants, I'm very interested in that. You want that in your schedule. If they haven't been in for 5 years or more, perhaps you want them in your schedule so you can do a comprehensive exam only for that patient and create a comprehensive treatment plan. Many offices choose to do that with all their new patients, or at least those that are over age 25. So however you want to look at new patients, that needs to get thought through and discussed with your team. That's the second point of organization. 1, know your goal. 2, know your history. And 3, again, know if you want to grow any of those procedure types. Number 4 is actually be honest about the timing of these appointments. Physics play a role here. Through no fault of your own, composite only sets up so fast. So you can't think your way faster. You can't ask the laws of physics to change for you to be able to reduce the time that it takes for you to do an MOD filling and do it well. So be realistic about that. In the past, in some of my consulting career, we have secretly timed the doctor when they think it takes 20 minutes and it actually takes 30. Right? As you're thinking about how long it takes to do procedures, be honest about anesthetic. Be honest about milling time. Be honest about how fast composite sets up. So realistically understand what you can get done, for example, in that 1 hour time period. So those are some of the things to look at. Bring your team into this conversation, get their input. It's certainly your decision, but the schedule is something the entire office is focused on. All of our, impact, all the work that we do as different positions in the office, administrator, assistant, hygiene, it all centers around the schedule. So having everybody involved in designing the scheduling template is critical. And it's a great leadership point on your part to include everybody in the design of these templates. So as we're getting organized, this literally comes down to let's start designing. I am not kidding. Get out blank pieces of paper, graph paper if you want, colored pencils if you want. But what we're going to do is design and outline different types of appointments and move them around in the schedule based on how many you do, what your goal is for the day, the time it takes you to do them, and what can be done against each other. Are there times in column 1 that you can't, or do you have 2, if not 3 columns that you're going to schedule, or do you only have 1 active operatory? All of that's going to matter on how you design your day. So sit down as a group, just start playing with this. I'm not kidding. Be a kid again. This reminds me, what you're going to create is what I used to call paint by numbers. And again, that is aging me, but they are outlines that if I just put the right appointment type into each block, I will have a beautiful picture at the end. So that's what this is all about, is designing these templates realistically with those 2 goals in mind: taking great care of your patients and making your production goals. My biggest tip when it comes to making these schedule templates is to design at least 2. And doctors, I am encouraging you to be open-minded to the fact that you would be willing to do all procedures at all times during the day. That was a trend many years ago about I'm only doing high production in the morning and only doing small things in the afternoon. And while that may be ideal for you physically, again, make sure you're still able to do this physically and provide quality care. But what you do is limit the availability of different appointments for different people that don't have that flexibility like you might in your schedule. So as you're designing these 2 templates, that there will be different appointment times for all types of appointments throughout the day. So you might have the crown and bridge appointments in the morning, and you might have the crown and bridge appointments available also in the afternoon on a different day. Same thing with the filling appointments, same thing with the new patient appointments. What this does is allow anybody making appointments for your patients, admin, clinical, whoever, to be able to say yes. If Mrs. Jones can only come in the afternoon and she has a crown that needs to get done, you have a time set aside for that. Not every day, but to be able to offer Mrs. Jones 2 different appointments that work for her. We've got Tuesdays at 2 or Thursdays at 4. What worked best for you? Giving that patient the choice within their desired time frame is fantastic. Your team has made the patient happy and they've made you happy because they've been able to stick with that template. So then another clarity here is, what are the types of appointments? You can do this a couple different ways. You're welcome to do this with procedure types, crown and bridge, implant, restorative, filling, extractions, new patients, that sort of thing. That's one way to do that. And again, it's that, where am I going to put them? Different colors. And as long as I fill in the appointment types correctly, I'm going to make my production goal every day. Another way of doing that is looking at dollar value and designing the blocks that maybe are high production. And what are you defining by that? By dollar value. There could be a block called moderate production or low production, where there is a dollar value to it, but it's not as productive, obviously, as a high production. That might be a filling or 2, an extraction, a bone graft, a night guard impression, those sorts of things. Those are generally about an hour appointment. So there's dollar value, but do not have the high production value that the crown and bridge implants, multiple extractions, multiple fillings might be. So you need to define those. There's always non-production appointments, again, which are necessary based on most advanced procedures. There are post-ops, crown seats, try-ins, that sort of thing. All of those need to have a better time in your schedule than just squeezing them in somewhere. That's when chaos happens, when we don't have clarity on which appointments go where. And then don't forget about your new patient blocks. Those need to get designed as well. Because that new patient exam, we need to make sure that there is time for you as the doctor to have one-on-one diagnostic case presentation time with that new patient, particularly if you are truly doing a comprehensive exam and a comprehensive treatment plan. Ideally, that you're able to get that done that first appointment. So again, it is a lot of playing around with things, looking at timing of things, what can be done in 2 chairs if you have them. Ideally, you've got 2 assistants working with you if you've got the 2 chairs. Are we able to offer multiple options to our patients, at least 2 template designs that take great care of our patients and meet our production goal? So it's a team effort, and your team will get behind you as you're trying to, as the leader, create clarity, create consistency, create manageability. And when everything is going right, everybody's mood is up, everybody's happier, everybody's able to take better care of your patients and have better days. So a good, successful, effective scheduled template makes happy team, happy patients, and happy doctor. It's a win all around. One point I want you to take away with this is that your template is not set in stone. Give it a try for, 3, 4, 6 weeks. If there is somewhere in the day that you're consistently running behind, modify the template. You did your best the first time around. Modify it as you need to if there's a consistent pattern where things are not going well. Maybe you're going to change your mind that we decided not to put in emergency blocks. We're just going to fill them in as we go. And yet you've decided you do want to add them as part of the template. That's great. You're trying to take great care of your patients first, right? So it's okay. Your template is meant to be a living, breathing thing. So if it's not working within those first 4 weeks within a consistent time frame, change it. As you change in your speed, in your efficiency, if you're adding technology or adding new service mixes, that's going to affect and impact and require the need to redesign your templates. And that's okay too. So don't think they're set in stone, but really put effort and intention into creating a schedule that is consistent with a couple different variations so that you take great care of your patients and meet your production goals. Well, that was tip number 5. Thank you for joining me through this entire series. And I will say, if there is anything that you would like to hear more about, dive in even deeper into anything practice related, please reach out to your advisor. Ask them to have me go deeper into any topic. I'd be happy to do that for you. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.